Hello and welcome back to Seconds Out. My name is Eamon Khan here with British favourite Maxi Hughes to discuss his next steps. Maxi, it's good to see you. Good to see you as well on your YouTube channel too. Really good watch as well. Knowing that you made it to the fight, but nonetheless documenting how you got there in your journey I was nervous for you, even though you ended up
Yeah,
having the fight. But good content over
yeah,
there. Just give me a little bit of that story as I urge people who are watching this interview to watch your channel and watch that journey to the fight too.
yeah. Obviously, everybody who has followed my journey, I kept it quiet, obviously, to not let it get out. But what was set off to Vegas 2 weeks before with the plan on getting there, getting acclimatized to the time difference. I'd arranged sparring, I'd arranged the gym to go over there, to finish my training there, and obviously landing in Vegas after a 10-hour flight, spending around an hour in the Las Vegas airport in a police cell being searched, hands against the wall, spread your legs, that kind of treatment, as though I've just brought over a couple of kilos of white powder with me, and then quickly escorted by two armed police, back onto the same flight. So, back to back 10-hour flights, and being back in London within 24 hours, it wasn't the most ideal starts to the biggest fight in my life. Other than that, the training camp I had gone absolutely fantastic. One at best I'd had, and feeling so good. And then for it to all go, a bit pear shaped, and then last 2 weeks, the most vital time. Yeah, it's but yeah, as you mentioned, you can catch all the full story on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Fair play to you. No, I very much urge everyone as well to check out. There's good content on there. Maxi, just how much of that affected your preparations do you feel?
Again, I want to make it clear. I'm not using this as an excuse, because at any point during all this madness that were going on around me, I could have pulled out and I could have got it postponed. But my team, my training team, was advising me to get it postponed and look at other options that what we can do. But I was too headstrong. I was like, nah, I'm not letting this phase me. Zepeda can't cause me as much hassle as I've been through this week. He ended up doing. He caused me more pain anyway. But yeah, like, I just kept telling myself, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll be mentally strong. As long as my head's all right, my body will be fine. But as it turns out, I probably, looking back, maybe should have got it postponed. But I'd put so much into it, and I'd felt good. And as I said, I had a fantastic training camp up to that point. So I'm like, now I've come this far. I'm not throwing it in now. I'll get in there, and I was still very, very confident that I could deal with Zepeda. What I did in first round, which I think I won first round. That was the plan to carry on, and I'd been doing it in sparring against, just as aggressive, just as busy sparring partners. So I felt I could do it, but I just felt so tired. And obviously, he executed his game plan on taking my best asset away from me, which is my footwork. He absolutely hammered me down to the body, and he stopped me being able to do what we'd planned to do. And I respect him as a fighter, and hopefully he'll go on and win a world title and do that to everybody else in his path. So it looks pretty good on my record.
Yeah, actually, just breaking that down, that fight a lot more. We know that Zepeda has that level of volume, but when you're in there, I guess it's a different story. Now, you'll have naturally kind of planned for that in the sparring that you've done there, but when it came to the actual fight now, how was it dealing with that volume, and do you feel that was one of the overwhelming factors in the fight?
Again, like I've said it before, like the headshots he was hitting me is not the hardest puncher that I've been hit with. I thought I was taking them headshots, and I thought they're not bothering me. These I can take these. It might have been a different story after 12 rounds
Mhm.
of taking them, like, but up until that, I was like, these headshots they're not bothering me. I can take these. I can cope with them. It was purely the body shots.
Right.
Um, Absolutely the body shots that did me, and even early on, they were chipping away, and they were like, they're not bad, not bad. I'll ride in with them and block in, and then he caught me with one right up middle, right in solar plexus. Just that spot, you just cannot defend against it, and it just absolutely drained the life out of me. And once he caught me with that, I had this little internal battle going on. I was like, take a knee, just take a knee and take a couple of seconds. But, obviously it happened so quick. I didn't know if then I had the rattle of, well, if you take a knee, he absolutely knows he's hurt you. So he's going to pour it on even more than he was. So then I was like, now just ride it out. Maybe he don't know he's caught you and hurt you. It took absolutely everything not to take a knee. And then obviously the chat with the referee in the changing room beforehand, he said, look, if your opponent's coming on strong and he's getting on top of you, I just need you to show me something. Either try and go for a walk, create a bit of space, grab hold, or throw back. So I had my head, because I knew he was coming on with pressure and I was blocking and riding shots. I was like, right, I need to let a punch go here. And obviously I'd done it. I did enough to stop the referee from jumping in. That's what I was like. I don't want the referee to jump in here. Just like took every ounce of strength and energy to just throw something back to let the referee know that I'm still here. I'm still fighting. And obviously the round ended, and my corner, obviously I trust and respect my corner. That's what they're there for my best interests. And they know what I do in sparring. They know me better than obviously myself. So they knew things were going wrong, and the fact that I couldn't do what we'd planned to do and what I do in the gym all the time, that it took that away from me. It was their decision then to pull me out. And obviously my pride, I did sit on the stool, I put my head down on ropes, and I shed a few tears. I thought that, something I've worked so hard for, and almost like letting out the emotion of everything that I just had to go through for the last 2 weeks. And yeah, we're all a lot to take in, like, and still now, thinking and talking about my pride, but it's life, innit? Life's tough. If it were easy, everyone would do it, wouldn't they? I mean, there's not many fighters from UK who've managed to get over to Vegas and headline and have their poster on the strip. So yeah, I'm still proud of getting there. Like I said in build up, I wasn't there as a selected opponent. I'd earned my right to be there. I'd been ordered by WBA and IBF. So yeah, it was an experience.
Looking forward to the future, I think you've said, I think in some of the post-fight interviews, look, you're looking to bounce back from this and get back into the mix and get back into the big fights. What were the conversations with you and the team about what could be next for you?
Well, I spoke to Leigh Wood, my promoter, back end of last week, and he's like, look, he says, I believe you've still got a run in you. He says, we all know that wasn't the 100% you after everything you'd been through. But he says, I still think there's big fights out there for you. Maybe I need a win, an 8-rounder just to sort of get myself back in there, and then get a win and then be able to push on for the back end of the year. But, Zepeda has not punched the fight out of me. I've come back, I had a week there, refreshed myself mentally, physically, come back, no injuries. So I'm good to, I've been training. I mean, I've got London Marathon to do in 2.5 weeks. So I've had to keep training and running. So that's maybe helped me a bit. So yeah, I'm keen to hurry up and crack on with my career. I only had that one fight last year. I want to make up for it this year and hopefully have 3 fights this year. So yeah, I'm back in gym, I'm working, and I'll see what's out there for me, see what we can get. I've actually run boxing board this morning. My brain scans ran out, so I need to get that booked in ASAP. So my medicals are all up to date, and I'm good to fight.
And you can fight over in America with no hassle as well too now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Although I did get told when I successfully had my interview at embassy, it did say, he says, look, you're going to get your visa, But when you get to Homeland Security, the border, those guys still have the authority and the decision to turn you away if they don't, if they don't like the look of you, they don't like the answers that you're giving you, they can still turn you away whether you've got your visa or not. I'm like, oh, this is all I need. This like, I mean, even once I've got my visa and I flew out of Dublin, so there is a US border in Dublin. The reason they flew me out of there were because they said if they don't let you through there, at least you're only a 40-minute flight back home.
Mm.
But getting to Dublin and showing my passport, it literally scanned my passport, didn't ask me a question, and it obviously beeped up, and he were like, "Come with me, sir." Took me into the back room again. I was like, "Oh, not again." And I think because I'd had my ESTA cancelled and it had been on system that I'd been deported, they made me sweat for 10 minutes in room, and they just questioned me, and obviously that I think my answers obviously corresponded what they'd got on the computer, and they were like, right, on your way, and I was like, right, thank God for that. But yeah, I mean, it scarred me for sure. Like even if I went to America on a family holiday with my wife and kids, I'll be sweating then. Like when it comes to that passport, obviously, I'm sure it's still going to be on system, and they might even still pull me in and question me, making sure that I am there on holiday and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely damaged me, and it's going to make me nervous in US airports.
Well, you in the opposite corner for any fight will definitely make them nervous with your capabilities. Have you got any names on the list at all, Max, that you're eyeing for or looking to target specifically? I know that naturally the Kambosos rematch is something that you want there. That might, I imagine, seem a slight bit further out now with the loss, but something that you look to build back towards. But on your own list, who features on there?
Nobody in particular. One fight that could really do, sell well and be a good fight is the George Kambosos fight. If
Mm.
obviously he's fighting next month for the title where I should have been against Loma. I can't unless George shocks everybody and pulls it off, which I just can't see him doing. Um, you know, I wonder if George might be interested and the boxing fans might be interested in seeing the rematch between me and George. But failing that, just anybody who gets me back, to being involved in big fights. I've shown I'll travel anywhere and fight anyone, as long as the price is right, as they say. So that's what it's about for me. The bigger fights. I still believe I am a world class fighter. I just come up short against a very good fighter. And something that else that does me in is that, oh, here we go again. The UK boxers just can't deal with the Mexicans, and
Mm.
I didn't deal with that particular Mexican, but look back at my fight with Straffon, I very much dealt with a Mexican who was aggressive and a big puncher then. So yeah, I'm obviously getting tired with that brush at the minute.
Is that something that you listen back to on the commentary?
I haven't watched it back yet. No, I am gonna get round to it. But yeah, I don't know what the feedback from the commentary was. I don't know if it was good, positive, or negative, or what.
Hmm. Just going on your next fight as well too. Look, you're talking about having potentially that run out and then the hopefully get into the big fight, but real major importance, I guess, as to whatever the fight is, that you don't have that third loss in a row, considering the two back-to-back fights. Like, look, you look naturally as you will do. A lot of people will contest that you won the Kambosos Jr., but people, when it comes to matchmaking, will look at the records and say this, that, and the other. So
Yeah,
do you feel that sense of pressure on that next fight, whatever it may be, that it's a must-win?
I don't put that pressure on myself, but I understand what you mean. Like the
Mm,
promoters and managers will use that. Oh, but you did lose two fights on trot.
mm,
Even though everybody knows I shouldn't have lost that fight. But yeah, I think for me, like what the governing bodies and all that, if you was to get, let's say an international title or an eliminator of some sort, I think you hear that they're likely to go into it off the back of a win. So that's important. That if that's what I need to do, then I'll do that. I'll get my team to arrange a fight. Obviously there's no such thing as easy fights and givens in boxing. They're the kind of fights that you think, oh yeah, it's a guaranteed winner. You need to turn up. They're the ones where you can either look bad or potentially get upset. I would never go into fight if they got me a fight which wasn't of the level that I've been fighting at. Whoever it is will get treated with the same respect as all my opponents. Of the level that I'm fighting at. I would never underestimate anyone. I'm mature enough and experienced enough to know, what can happen if you take somebody lightly.
Mm-hmm. Actually, last couple of things from myself. Just talking about your corner in the form of Sean and Josh. I saw Josh was in training, put a little clip out, looking for that Leigh Wood rematch. Don't really know if we're any closer or further from it. What do you know about it?
Yeah, it's not the same boat as everybody else. Yeah, nobody seems to know. It's a bit of a frustrating time. Obviously both lads will want to fight. Josh is really chomping at a bit. He always trains anyway, but he just wants that date and that that security that the fight's on. He's still chasing it, and them and from our side as a team, they've done everything they can to try and get the fight on, but it's a waiting game, and it's really frustrating. But yeah, he's jumping a bit for his Josh.
Don't know how much you know of Harutyunyan, who's fighting Shakur Stevenson, but have you kept an eye on that fight at all, and just Shakur's latest outing in the division?
Who's he fighting? Sorry, I didn't catch that name.
Fighting a fellow by the name of Artem Harutyunyan.
Oh, Artem. Who did he box recently? Did he box Frank Martin?
I think he might have done,
That
yeah.
the one. Yeah. Well, if it is that guy, I don't. Is he? I think he's the German guy. Is he?
He is. I believe he might be German, yeah.
Yeah, I were only recently, maybe yesterday or day before, scoping the division out, looking for potential opponent. And I saw his name, and I think his last fight was it against Frank Martin. I lost to Frank Martin, or if he's come back and had a win. But yeah, it's it's a little like, obviously as boxing fans, we want to see the biggest fights happen. I did actually put my own name in at before the fight with Zepeda with Shakur. I just reached out to him on Messenger. I just said, "Hey up, pal. If you've not got nobody soon to fight, you know me, you know what I'm about. You saw me in Oklahoma with George. I'm happy to come over and fight you." And he were respectful back. He replied straight away, to be fair. And they were like, "Look, pal, I'm working on this, working on that, but if no comes, sure." So yeah, I think Shakur were actually calling for Zepeda, as I heard right. Somebody else told me, but yeah, as boxing fans and another lightweight contender, we want the biggest fights to happen, and as well to either so the division keeps moving, so everybody can get their shot, and or the belts become freed up. So the division's not been held up by one particular guy. Regular fights in the division are better for the division. It means opportunities are going to come up, and that's what I'll be training back for, and hopefully get. Now my profile is now known in US. A bit of respect there, bit of credibility. So hopefully another win just sets me back up to be back involved in big fights.
Max, you have the respect over in the US and of course over here in the UK as well too. That goes without saying, but I thought I'd just say it anyway. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Looking forward to seeing you back in the ring very soon. Thank you so much for speaking to Seconds Out, sir.